Thank you for joining me here on the News Summary. I'm Reza Chetayeva. Stay with me for the latest news from Kazakhstan. The meeting on the results of the country's socio-economic development was held in Akorda last week. President Nursultan Nazarbayev urged the regional governors to effectively spend public money from the national budget, in particular those funds that were allocated earlier this year to support the major sectors of the economy.
Regional governors, mayors of Almaty and Astana, as well as the heads of key ministers and departments were summoned to a meeting with the Kazakh president in order to put the country back on track of growth and positive development. Nursultan Nazarbayev decided to remind the regions about their duties again. We are in a tough crisis. This is not the first time. We have seen the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Southeastern global recession, and now we are hit by the industrial crisis. Despite all this, we must show positive results this year, the 25th anniversary of independence.
Несмотря на это, мы должны год 25-летия страны завершить положительными показателями.
Positive results mean the GDP growth, low unemployment rate, and stable working enterprises. Although in some industries figures are falling due to the external strikes, there is a growth in other sectors such as agriculture, construction, and some industrial projects. The president also stressed the positive indicators in the social sphere.
Нам удалось не допустить роста безработицы.
We were able to prevent the growth of unemployment. It remains at 5% as it was. This is a very important indicator. Despite the reduction of budget revenues, I have given a clear instruction on the implementation of all our social commitments by the state. We can't allow lowering of the living standards. This is the main task of all bodies.
Это основная задача всех органов.
Nursultan Nazarbayev stressed that an important anti-crisis component is the implementation of the state program Joly and industrialization. The governors are handling the investments in the regions, but the realization of industrial projects has poor results. Some 900 companies have been launched in 6 years. They have become instruments that supported the current state of the economy. However, not all of them are operating properly.
Если говорить о 900, не такая большая цифра.
900 enterprises are not so much, but we have to deal with every facility. The statistics for 4 months clearly show that where there is a decline in implementation of the industrial programs, where there is a low diversification, there is a decrease.
Где реально не работает на диверсификации экономика, там и происходит спад.
The president noted that the state program Joly has become the core of the economic policy this year. Therefore, everyone should know its importance. The president also criticized the government for poor results in promoting the program of innovation in industrial development. The Ministry of Industry needs to revise projects by examining the profitability and potential economic impact. Review the criteria for the selection of projects, include and fund only those projects that will work. Nursultan Nazarbayev has once again reminded governors that they need to engage the population in a dialogue. The head of state stressed the need to be attentive to the issues addressed by the citizens. The way the reforms are explained is equally important, he said. I signed the decree on a moratorium of a number of provisions of the land legislation which caused the issue. The commission was formed and started working. Its first meeting led to a good response. The commission must develop a coordinated position on improving land legislation. All who truly worry about the land and appreciate Kazakhstan's soil, let them come out and speak out. All who talk about it in Kazakhstan.
Все, кто по-настоящему переживает за землю, уважает землю казахстанскую.
The president gave concrete instructions and demanded to correct the errors.
Поручаю правительству совместно с акимами областей немедленно разобраться.
I'm instructing the government, together with the governors of regions, to check and correct everything immediately. The funds have been directed to the roadmap and infrastructure, namely for housing, hospitals, roads, and drinking water. It should work for the population and generate profit and volumes to the economy.
Должно работать на население и приносить прибыли, объемы в экономику. Что еще надо?
In their turn, regional managers promise to show the best figures that will have a positive impact on the lives of Kazakh citizens already by the end of the third quarter.
Astana's economic growth is picking up with the highest gross regional product. The city achieved high economic performance due to hard work of the whole state apparatus and above all the city mayor's office, President Nazarbayev said last week. at a meeting in Akorda where he met with Mayor Adilbek Shakhsibekov, who reported on the city's development. According to the mayor, small and medium-sized businesses are gaining momentum with 105,000 registered and operating entities. The unemployment rate was reported to be the lowest in Kazakhstan, as is the maternity mortality rate. Increased inflow of investments and improved preschool education were duly noted at the meeting.
Много разговоров было, что мы здесь тратим много денег. Действительно.
There have been talks that we are spending a lot of money. Indeed, the total cost amounted to 6 trillion tenge, out of which 4 trillion tenge were private investments. We can say that investments have been very effective. These figures indicate profit and are the result of a hard work by the government and foremost of the city mayor's office. But this work must be continued. It is the capital. It should be an example to everyone and in everything. The city is developing, has its own funds for development, and it will continue to grow.
Во всех направлениях. Город, в общем, развивается, уже собственные деньги на развитие имеются и будет дальше расти.
Astana has hosted the first meeting of the Land Reform Commission. The participants discussed the proposed land code amendments for 7 hours. The commission contains 75 people, including politicians, members of both houses of parliament, public figures, lawyers, scientists, and of course Kazakh agrarians.
At present, the country's land fund makes up 270 million hectares, which are occupied by farmlands, settlements, industrial zones, communications, defense, infrastructure, forest, and water funds. More than 100 million hectares are not utilized at the moment. 1.3 million hectares are under private ownership, and another 99.5 million hectares are being leased. And as stated by the majority of speakers, there are no reasons for concern. No one is going to sell the land to foreigners.
Бастысы біздің жұмысымыз ашық, жариялы түрде жүргізіледі.
The work of the Commission should be open and transparent. We need to make sure the result of our discussion would be open to the public and our decision would be well thought out and wise.
Это покажет работа, к какому выводу мы придем.
We will see the outcome, but I think that if we listen to each other like this, we will find the solution. Because I can see right now that some people fear that our goal is to take away their land and property from farmers and those who are engaged in farming, apparently because of lack of full understanding. We never said that. On the contrary, we believe that better conditions should be created for our local farmers and peasants.
Никогда такого мы не говорили. Наоборот, нашим местным сельхозпроизводителям, крестьянам нужно создать все условия, чтобы они могли работать.
Land lease to foreigners is perhaps the most discussed topic in the new code. In this regard, the Commission members were divided into those in favor and those against. The 25-year lease norm to foreigners was adopted on January 1, 2015. However, according to the new Minister of Agriculture, Askar Mirzakhmetov, the ministry has never received any applications for land lease by foreign nationals.
Иесіз қалған жер жетім деген қазақта сөз бар. Жер бос жатпау керек, ол тозбау керек.
The land must be utilized. If a Kazakh citizen wants to rent or purchase the land, we will increase the consumer's basket of goods. And if we decide to lease the land to foreigners, then we should create the proper conditions for them. You have to understand that renting the land will increase the state revenues. We all have one goal: to make rational use of the Kazakh land. Agribusiness representatives are sure there should be private ownership of land because investing in the technology and anything that has been privatized has no risk. On a larger scale, it is also the development of the agro-industrial complex.
У всех вызывает беспокойство, что, допустим, земля находится у тебя в аренде.
People are concerned. For instance, they rent the land, invest millions to attract new technology, equipment, and other things, but the land is at somewhat risk. You have your rented land today, but may lose it, say, tomorrow, and of course, people do not want to invest in such land. But if you own the land when you purchase it for hard-earned money, it becomes another matter. Of course, everyone would want to invest. Participants of the meeting decided to gather every Saturday. They decided to set up 4 working groups: legal, information and clarification, economic, and to ensure transparency of the procedures.
В следующий раз у нас будет уже предметный разговор.
Next time we will have a substantive agreement and we will discuss selling lands to the citizens of Kazakhstan. We will meet every Saturday. After 5-6 sessions, When the basic pillars will be set up, we will visit the regions and will discuss in the framework of public councils which are created with the local administrations, and they will work with our affiliates. We have told all the governors that our materials will be shown. We reached the goal. Today all spoke out, all agreed to work constructively within the Commission. All information about the Commission is available at www.jerturali.kz. That's JERTURALY.kz. Internet users can ask questions and leave suggestions. A special call center has been also set up.
After the first meeting of the Land Commission, the land reform is under a wide discussion. Kazakh intellectuals expressed their views at the roundtable discussion in Almaty's House of Friendship.
Президент страны всегда советовался с вами.
The president always consulted the people when making important decisions, and you have always been president's support and the conscience of the nation. So today I want to explain the essence of the land reform. The land must serve for the benefit of our people and our society. The land should be in caring hands, in the hands of our domestic farmers. That is how it is all over the world, in all developed countries. So we also have to apply this rule if we want to join the ranks of the 30 developed countries. That is the essence of the land reform, which is aimed at the development of our country and improving people's welfare.
В число 30 развитых государств, то и мы должны идти по этому пути. Вот вся суть земельной реформы, которая направлена на развитие нашей экономики и благосостояния каждого гражданина нашей страны.
Президент сказал, если закон он в чем-то хромает, если закон он...
The president said that if the law doesn't find support of the people, we don't need such a law. This was the president's message. I think it is very difficult to supplement these words with something else.
Еще дополнить очень сложно.
Опять проявил огромную заботу.
Our president again showed great care for the people and for the land.
There are more than 100 million hectares of agricultural land in Kazakhstan. In the past 13 years, 1.3 million hectares of land were purchased for private ownership. That is a little more than 1% of the country's entire territory. The rest of the land is being leased. Foreign companies can rent farmland in Kazakhstan since 2003. Currently, they are renting 65,000 hectares of land. So the concerns over the regulations among the population have no solid ground, experts believe.
The problem is that we have a lot of land. This is a huge resource. It must have economic significance, of course, and it should benefit the country. The land must have its farmer who knows how to cultivate the land needed for economic development.
Farming is gaining momentum across Kazakhstan. For instance, only in Karaganda region, the number of farms has increased by 10% over the past few years. Technologies and science-based approach in agriculture are making food companies more profitable and adding attractiveness to the sector.
Traditional kumis, or mare's milk, can be made in 20 minutes due to a new invention. The traditional way of making the drink is a longsome procedure. At a farm near Zhezkazgan, the process has been simplified without compromising the quality. The farm has recently bought 140 horses under a government agriculture support program. We have a lot of customers. If we increase the number of livestock, we will sell milk in other regions too. From goat's milk, which is very useful, we make kurt and cottage cheese. This farm has been operating for 4 years. They sow fields, breed animals, and are planning to grow vegetables. Last year, we sowed 200 hectares of cropland. This year, we're also planning to plow 200 hectares, and we want to enlarge the feed base. I work in a dairy business. I understand the importance of having a feed base for cattle. Today, there are 235 farms in the region. The total number of cattle in the industrial region is 34,000 heads. In the first quarter of this year, the regional food output was worth nearly 230 million tenge.
The largest manufacturer of dairy products of North Kazakhstan region has started to export its products to Russia. Annually, the farm produces more than 13,000 tons of milk.
The company was among the first in northern Kazakhstan to have established a livestock cluster. Elite dairy cows have been purchased and a new plant had been built in Petropavlovsk. At present, there are 7,500 cows of Holstein and Simmental breeds on the farm. More than 45 tons of milk is sent every day for recycling. First, employment of people is provided and people work all year round. Employees get a good salary. Milkmaids, herdsmen make 80 to 90,000 tenge. They provide their families. Products from Novonikolsk raw materials are supplied to not only Petropavlovsk stores, but also in Astana. City residents evaluated the taste of local milk, yogurt, and cottage cheese. Even if the milk was not boiled, in 2 days it turns into klabber. It is a sign that it is a natural product without additives and preservatives. We have such fields, such lands, and therefore the meat and milk should not be imported. Currently, new calf sheds are being built at this farm. Agricultural machinery has already been put into operation. Not only wheat, but also potatoes, flax, canola, corn have been cultivated at 36,000 hectares of land. In order to benefit, it is necessary to invest a lot. It is not a simple work. We also apply new technologies, new fertilizers. We try to use at maximum the land's possibilities so that it gives fruits.
Dairy cluster is actively developing in eastern Kazakhstan. At present, 37 dairy farms and 36 milk collection stations are under construction here. One of them has recently been opened in the village of Zivakino.
The employment roadmap made it possible for many farmers to receive funding and buy cattle. The new farm now employs the inhabitants of 3 neighboring villages. Every day, the station receives half a ton of milk for processing. Residents of the region are happy to have received the opportunity to earn money in such a way. Milk is stored in a special tanker refrigerator and without loss of quality is delivered for processing. In general, dairy farming development program will allow the region to increase production in this area by 1.5 times, experts say. I submit some quantity of milk every day. My earnings amount to about 70,000–80,000 tenge per month. Well, it became convenient for us because milk gets processed properly. We produce first category milk. Milk is good. After cooling in a cooler, it can be supplied to the plant for advanced processing, both for condensation and for separation.
More and more global and transnational companies are interested in the Kazakhstani market. The Kazakh Ministry of Investments and Development reported that this year 7 investment projects worth 78 billion tenge are being implemented with participation of such companies as JAC, Hikma, Peugeot, Citroën, Cremonini and others.
The companies represent pharmaceutical, chemical, agricultural and construction industries. In recent years, experts underscored the increased interest in the manufacturing sector.
Прямые иностранные инвестиции упали только на 37,5%.
Foreign direct investments fell by 37.5%. However, some segments of the manufacturing sector saw increased investments. For instance, investments in production of petroleum products increased by 81% and by 7 times in mechanical engineering, 30% in food and beverages production.
Или в 7 раз выросли прямые иностранные инвестиции в сфере машиностроения.
We produce aluminum profiles, plastic pipes, windows and doors in Kazakhstan. We have a manufacturing company that employs approximately 1,000 people. Last year, we paid $5.5 million in taxes. It means that every year we add more than 5 million to the economy of Kazakhstan. Over the past 11 years, a total $212 billion of foreign direct investments have been attracted to Kazakhstan's economy.
Kazakhstan is interested in exchanging the best practices with other countries in the field of public procurement, according to the participants of the 12th International Public Procurement Forum held in Astana.
The annual volume of public procurements in Kazakhstan today totals about 3 trillion tenge. All procedures are carried out electronically. Such data was reported at an international forum in Astana by the Department of Public Procurement Legislation of the Kazakh Ministry of Finance. We can say we are ahead of many in terms of e-procurement, as all stages from planning to payment are done electronically. This is a very good result, because even in the developed European countries, the index of e-procurement is less than 10%. Experts in the field of public procurement from 25 countries attended the forum. The foreign experts learned and evaluated the Kazakh model of public procurement system and also shared their own experiences. Domestic experts believe the best foreign practice will find its use in Kazakhstan. The customers must undergo mandatory certification prior to starting the procurement procedures. To date, we do not have the mandatory certification, and now, after studying the international experience, we will consider the possibility of introducing such mandatory certification for the customers.
What we really welcome here in Kazakhstan is the development of using technology and e-procurement systems to make things much easier for businesses to participate and also for the government to provide information to the public on the procurement.
The Expo 2017 ticket sales will start on 10th of June. At a meeting of the Public Council, the chairman of the national company Astana Expo 2017, Ahmetjan Isimov, said the tickets would be available online starting from June and at the box offices starting from August.
He also said that as of today, 84 countries and 14 international organizations confirmed their participation in the exhibition.
Нам удалось добиться в переговорах с Международным бюро выставок, можно сказать, самой минимальной цены.
We agreed on lowest prices with the International Exhibitions Bureau so that the maximum number of Kazakh citizens could attend the event as well as attract foreign tourists. The operator we chose recently will determine the exact price. For now, I can say the cost of tickets will be slightly higher than the cost of cinema tickets.
Единственное, могу сказать, что стоимость билета будет не намного выше, чем стоимость билета в кинотеатре.
In addition, local content of Expo 2017 makes up 25%. Today, about 10,000 workers are employed in the construction of Expo facilities, and about 30,000 people are employed in the enterprises in the supply of goods and services for the exhibition. In total, according to Yasimov, 256 domestic producers have been involved.
The ancient settlements of Otarar, Saganak, Sauron and Sarayshik, located in the Sirdarya area of the Great Silk Road, will be included in the list of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. In this regard, the National Commission for UNESCO held a meeting in Astana.
According to Kazakh Minister of Culture and Sports Aristanbek Muhammediuli, after the assignment of such nominations, international experts will help restore the ancient settlements. According to the higher official, the status of the World Heritage Sites will help to draw particular attention to the ancient Kazakh cities. Kazakhstan is actively cooperating with this international organization. Last year, Culture's Rapprochement Center was opened in Kazakhstan under the auspices of the UNESCO. Last year, for the first time, we managed to include the first section of the Silk Road into the World Heritage List. Now we are applying for combined nominations with individual countries such as China, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. And our task now is to revive the Great Silk Road. And Sirdarya segment of the Great Silk Road is very important for us. If we include it into the list of UNESCO, then restoration work will be carried out not only by the Kazakh side, but also by the UNESCO experts.
Конечно, будут вести реставрационные работы не только от Казахстана, и даже со специалистами ЮНЕСКО.
The Ile-Alatau National Park was created 20 years ago. Located in a close proximity to Almaty, this reservation area can become part of the UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve in 3 years. Almaty hosted an international conference where the prospects of development of the nature park Ile-Alatau were discussed.
The Ile-Alatau Park is still in the making. There are 4 forestry schools here. Information center for visitors will be opened in the near future. The national park is going to become a part of the global network of biosphere reserves protected by UNESCO. Currently, the management of the park is taking measures to bring local population of snow leopards back to stable. At present, their population in the national park amounts to 420 species. Photo traps are installed everywhere and research is being conducted. Another area of the scientific research of local experts is aimed at helping to recover the unique flora of the national park, for example, the Sivers apples. There are 27 species of wild apple trees in the world. Sivers apples are distinguished with their shape diversity. The weight of these apples can be up to 100 grams. Sivers apples' particular importance is that they're the ancestor of cultivated variety of apple trees. A few hectares of land for the clone bank of wild apples are being prepared on the territory of the national park, Breeders are already looking for the best specimen in the mountains. In addition, 210 hectares of land were allocated for port apples in the Ile Alatau Reserve. There are plans to commercialize the production of the famous apple varieties.
These were the major news from Kazakhstan for the past week. Thank you for staying with me. Goodbye.